What is up, everybody? I think we're live. I hope so. If someone can do me the kind favor of letting me know that we actually are live, that would be super helpful, because I have no idea if we are. This is my first time trying a live stream here across multiple platforms, so we're going to see how it goes. Hopefully well. Right now I'm talking to myself, but that's not too unusual. So let's see here. I think everything seems to be working well except for Instagram. But why would that work? Well, that's unfortunate. But alas, we're here. So, again, if someone can do me the kind honor of telling me if I'm not talking to myself, that would be super helpful. But let me take a quick minute here while I'm waiting for people to show up. And let's see if we can get this working. And let's see if people are actually here. All right, so we seem to be working. All right, well, you know what? We're just going to go for it. And it is what it is. Because you know what? Show business must go on. Or something like that. So, welcome to the very first episode of me tearing apart your websites and telling you why we got to fix them. If you could do me a huge favor and tell me if the lighting is terrible, the sound is terrible, I'm terrible, we can be honest. We're all friends here. That would be super helpful. And we'll go from there. So what I want to do here is help you discover things within your websites that are not optimized properly. Things that we can fix to take better advantage of the traffic that you have. Things that we can change to put you a step ahead of your competitors. Basically, what I want to do is go through your website, find all these things and help you open your eyes to the different ways that you can properly optimize your website. And we'll go from there. So again, I'm going to start diving into some stuff, but if this background music becomes annoying, tell me. I need and appreciate your feedback because we're going to make this awesome, but I need your help. So let's hop in and share our screen. And here we go. All right. So the first website we have up to bat is yellowbooth.co.uk. Here's what I'm getting off the bat. I'm going to make an assumption that you sell or rent photo booths. Somewhere saying that that's exactly what you do would be super helpful. Again, it doesn't need to be like over the top, but let's say we rent photo booths for special occasions somewhere. Being super clear and simple for people is going to be very helpful because you don't want people to have to make assumptions. People are going to make assumptions regardless, and usually they're going to be wrong. So you want to kind of remove that doubt whenever possible. And, you want to really make it super clear when someone gets here. That's the service that you offer, and that's what they can expect when they go further through your website. That being said, the main thing I'm drawn to here is obviously the video, which is awesome. One immediate concern here I have is this large button that says Manage Booking. Kind of confusing because most people who go to your website are going to be checking you out for the first time. So when they go, and one of the main options here is either Our Services or Manage Booking, it might be a little odd that they're not able to request a booking. They're managing an existing one. So let's take a look and see where that brings us. Okay, so that brings us to managing an existing booking, which is going to be kind of confusing. I would recommend taking that out of the limelight here, put that up here where Book Now is, get book now right here, or request information. You want to make it easier for people to get in touch with you and kind of get that ball rolling with the contact and everything else. Whereas when they first land on your website, this is going to be a kind of confusing option. But let's go through and look at some other stuff. Your days of the week, super hard to see on this background, so clean that up a little bit. Here you've got a ton of empty space, right? So you tell us about what you do, kind of. So you supply magic mirrors and pods for over 6 years. Now, the only thing I don't know is if you supply it to a DJ or you supply it directly to the bride and groom. So maybe clear that up a little bit and make it crystal clear about what exactly the services that you offer. And then take advantage of this empty space that you have here to either say, view testimonials, view our services. Don't just leave this empty space here doing nothing. Take advantage of it and get someone further into your funnel. This bar, awesome. It's great that you have experience, great that you have parties attended, 100% happy customers. All this is good stuff. It looks very generic. So take this opportunity to maybe use slightly better icons, tweak the colors so that they kind of match the color scheme of the site. You know, you have yellow and purple and magenta here. Get that color into the site so everything is kind of cohesive and tied together, and it really helps to give the customer a more upscale feel to the site. Not just like, hey, this was an option in my website builder, so I threw it in there because it looked good. Same kind of story is going to apply here. What we have to offer, this is all good information. It's styled very generically, so it doesn't make me feel like a lot of time and energy was spent to make this high end. And you have to understand that as a customer, people are going to be looking at your standards, how you treat your website. A lot of people are going to interpret that as to how you treat your business. If your website is good enough, if the information's there, they're going to subconsciously think, hey, when I rent a photo booth from these people, the service is going to be good enough. You want, maybe you don't, most people want to give them that really amazing experience and that awesome feeling that everything is going to be high quality and you have awesome standards and your customer service is awesome. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the same feel and the same vibe that's going to go through and show up in person actually shows on your website as well. So definitely take that into account here. You want to try and make sure that the look and feel of how your company is going to interact with people in person is matched on your website. This again, you know, I think we don't need to necessarily go through every aspect of this, but another one here is going to be kind of very plain, a lot of white space. We're introducing new colors now. We've got some blue that appears nowhere else. You want to try and really make this cohesive so that everything kind of vibes together and it's got that real professional look and feel, and maybe add some more photos in this section because your site is about photos and photo booths and everything is very centered around visual photos. There's a lot of white backgrounds. Here you've got a gray background. It's kind of blah. So you want to really make everything as inviting and warm and live as you can. Services here, let's see, weddings and parties, party photo booths, wedding photo booths. Maybe you want to include rentals or rentals in here, you know, photo booth party rentals, things like that to really describe exactly what your service is. So take that into account if you would. And let's look at, this is a very odd colored gray that doesn't seem to match the others, unless it's just me. But try and make this a bit more cohesive if you could. You've got your logo on black up here, a lighter gray, what I think is a darker gray up here, unless it's just the contrast. But try and keep things consistent. There's a lot of different colors going on here. Let's take a look at your lead form. Okay, so this is super hard to read on the background. I almost didn't see it. So you want to either make this background, this banner here, a little bit darker, or you want to maybe make this pop somehow, add a little overlay to the photo. Definitely going to be hard to read that information. So why are we going to choose yellow booth maybe for your party? So really try and hammer this home. We've got a lot of the same information we had before. What you could do, which would be a nice option, is add a little overlay here that says actual client photo. People may assume that these are like stock photos, but if you want to say actual photo taken with our photo booth, that would be a helpful way to kind of show off your product and also show that you're not just some generic company who's taking stock pictures offline. You're actually doing what you say you're going to do. So far, so good. I think what I'd recommend, this white space doesn't really make sense to me. It's kind of out of nowhere. But what I'd recommend here is remove one of these options. So remove, take the next step and see our booths, because that's going to take them further away from actually requesting contact and booking one. Put that somewhere else on the page. Get ready to book. Check availability. You want to get them now that they're like, hey, this is great. I like this. Let me book one. Not let me delay the process and get further away from the goal that you want to accomplish here. You want to make it super simple for them to actually go through the process and get one. So all this information is great. Great, check availability. I like that you actually included this again, and I want to check that out in a second. But let's go back here for a second. Check availability. It brings me right back to here. I wouldn't personally recommend putting this back on the homepage because they're going to get lost in this again. Make it its own separate page. Super simple, just the information that they need. Otherwise, people are going to be like, oh, hey, where am I? I'm on this other page. Let me look around again. Stop distracting people. Keep it really, really, really simple for what you want them to do. Let's go through and check out your instant quote option. Okay, better option. Instead of sending people to the home page, send them here. You have the page. Send people here so that way they can check the availability and go forward. So let's try this. This is probably not going to work for my location, but we'll go for it. Cool. All right, so this seems to be pretty good. The only thing, actually, I wouldn't even really. This seems fine. Yeah, I think what you really need to do there is instead of having people go back to the homepage here, or whatever section that was up here, to check the availability, send them right to that page. It's going to be way less confusing. So that's pretty much the gist of what I've gotten out of this site, and we can go through more pages, but I want to kind of open it up if we can to see if anyone has any questions. I have yet to receive some questions here. So to be honest with you, I actually don't know if they're working. So let's check that real quick because I would like to make sure I'm not ignoring anyone. All right, so I am missing questions. Awesome. But I have them here now, so I will go through them when I can. So, all right, let's take a look at the other site. Next one up here is Eastern Arizona Exterminating. So, my main thing when I look at this site, I'm being pulled in like 15 different directions with things to look at. I have a contact form on the right side. I have a slider image that's moving. I have this health and home thing that's moving around. I've got a live chat on the bottom. It is attention overload. I have no idea which thing I'm supposed to be focusing on first. and I'm just like, get me out of this section. There's too many things to look at, and I don't know what you want me to do. So either I'm supposed to pay attention to the health and home thing, call us, get the contact form, live chat. I get that you want to make it convenient for people to contact you, but this is overkill. So what you want to do is try and just eliminate maybe a little bit of the movement, eliminate this health and home movement. Don't have this live chat pop up right away. Try and make this a little bit more subtle and guide people through what you want them to do. All right, so let's go a little bit further down the page. I'd love to see a little larger font, maybe a little bit different font, something that doesn't feel so generic. This just seems very informational, and I don't want to read it. So when I'm looking for an exterminator, I want to know I have scorpions in my backyard. I can contact you. You're going to take them out. I don't really want to read this. So I understand that there's a need for this from the SEO perspective. Try and hide it a little bit more. So what I mean by that is, instead of making this huge big section that feels like I landed on a Wikipedia page about extermination, break this up so that I have more stuff to look at. Oh, and I have another pop-up. Break this up so I have more stuff to look at in bigger sections and hide the text within them. I'd rather this homepage be super long and you take all this text and you hide it somewhere lower down after the calls to action because you want to have it there. But there is way too much text on this homepage for me to actually read any of it. So that would be my big recommendation here. This is super text heavy. I don't want to read that much text. I want to understand, do you take care of my service area? How much is it going to cost me? And when can you come? From the customer perspective, you want to think about, what does that customer want? They're probably not coming here because they want to research pest control companies leisurely. They usually have a problem, otherwise they wouldn't be reaching out in the first place. So make it very simple for them to understand, these are our service areas. You're off to a good start there. How do I get in touch with you? And I know you have 48 options up here. Give them a simple option down here that's going to say, need us to come to your house for a free quote? Contact us. Make it very simple for people to get the service that they want and pay you. If they want to learn more about why you're an exterminator in Mesa, Arizona, put it further down the page. I will guarantee you, if you take some video of the people who are interacting with this page, most people are scrolling right past this stuff. So you got to try and think about what it is that people want when they get to a homepage and give them that information. Again, I know that a lot of this stuff is for SEO purposes, but you have to try and hide it inside the page as much as you can, because what you don't want to do is, think about it. You're spending this much time and energy on SEO, right? You want to get people to this page. Maybe you're doing an amazing job at SEO and this website ranks #1 for Arizona pest control. Awesome. People are getting to the site because you're ranked #1 and they're like, holy crap, look at this information. I'm not going to read all this. How do I get someone to call me and get rid of my scorpions? Try and keep it as simple as possible and find ways creatively to hide this mountain of information elsewhere on the page. So hopefully that makes some kind of sense. And, I understand you're kind of walking a fine line between SEO and design. But again, you have to really be conscious of the fact that if you want people to actually pay you and purchase stuff and buy stuff when they get to your website, that needs to be a priority after you get them there. So just always keep that in mind. We have a phone number here, which links right to a phone. Your contact us link. This page feels like the formatting is a little too wide. I don't think you may test this. I may be wrong. I'm not wrong a lot. I don't think this pop-up contact form is doing you any favors. Most people are pretty trained when they see a form like this, they're signing up to an email list. They immediately ignore it. And to be honest with you, when I first saw it, that was my first gut reaction is you're going to be taking my information for an email list. I don't want that. I want a super simple way to get in touch with you when I have a problem and you're going to solve my problem. So you have them, you have options. You have an SMS chat, you have email, phone number, great. But get this stuff off the left side of the page. Give it a little bit more room to breathe. And make it very simple for someone to contact you today. Give them very precise buttons. Again, get rid of this preset pop-up. And you want that information to be there as easy as possible to find. Take a look at your pricing page. This seems very straightforward. Okay. We again have your pop-up form. Fix this so it only shows once per session. I don't want to see this on every page. I'm going to get annoyed and I'm going to leave your site. So make sure when you have a pop-up like this, if you do, you interact with the user once, and if they don't want it, you don't come back. So this page is actually pretty good. Sorry, I jumped around there. This seems pretty good. The only thing that I would make a little bit more clear is why I'm going to get a quote when I have preset options here. So if there is something that doesn't fall within one of these two plans, I don't know how. So maybe say, need more than our plans offer, contact us for a custom quote. Up here, you're saying get a quote. Again, contact form. All right, so we have your contact form and then another request a quote form here. Confusing. What I don't understand is I'm on this page. You've gotten me as a user to this page. Take my money. Right, I'm here. You want me to sign up. Don't then take me further away from paying you by having a request a quote if I don't need it. So if there is a reason why I need to request a custom quote and I can't just pay you from one of those two plans, I need to know why. Right now I'm confused. What I'd recommend for this site, make it super simple. Advertise that you have simple bi-monthly pest control pricing. Make a packages button up here. Really, really, really simple. Get them to this page. Let them sign up. You shouldn't have to have the customer hunt around to try and find these packages and pay you. You want to make it really simple. So now that I even know this, which I didn't understand from your homepage, I would love to see something here about your preset packages. Maybe change one of these things out and say, take advantage of our bi-monthly package program. Save money. It shouldn't be a surprise. If you've priced these correctly that you make money on these customers, you want people taking advantage of those. You want people to be seeing your pricing, clicking the button, paying you, and knowing that you're going to show up at their house tomorrow. So take that into consideration. You want to keep things as simple as possible, and stop letting people get confused on how to pay you. People want to pay you. People don't want to spend a ton of time reading about pest control. They want to get here, say, oh man, $49, I can have you come to my house every week. This is great. Sign me up. Don't make it complicated. That's my advice for you on this site. If you have questions about anything that I'm doing, please leave them. I allegedly thought that I could see them. I clearly cannot. So what I'm doing here is just trying to take a look at the various places I'm streaming currently and looking for your questions. And if I see them, I'll answer them. But I'm not ignoring you. I appreciate you for all being here and helping me fumble through the first time I'm doing this. Hopefully it's providing some value to you. Let's take a look at the next site that I have. And actually, before we do that, I want to pull up something real quick. And let's take a look at this. If you want to have your website audited, I will do them for you for free. I'm planning on doing these once a week, like a website Wednesday type of thing, right? Because that's catchy and fun. Go to this page, jlewis.com/audit. Drop your name, email, and website right in here. That's how I got these websites. That's how I'm going through them. I'm not going to spam you with stuff. This is not you're not going to end up on my newsletter. I'm just trying to help. This is what I do. I enjoy. I want to help you guys solve these problems because they should not be that difficult. And you guys should have these awesome websites that are converting customers because it's your business. It's how you pay for your kids to go on vacation. It's how you pay for your livelihood. The easier I can help you make that, the better for everybody. So it's a win-win. Drop your information here. I will help you figure out the problems. If you need someone to physically do it, sure, I'll help you. But I'm not locking you into paying me money for anything. This is just something that I want to help you guys because I enjoy doing this type of thing. And if one person learns something and you're able to take something that I found on someone else's website and apply it to yours, mission accomplished. All right, so let's go through our next one. And what I have here is Car Key King. Obviously, you can assume that they do car keys. The first thing that I'm going to see here is that there is a lot of dead space in this top. So let's do something like get a free quote now. Maybe move the menu up a little bit. Menu should be a little bit larger. The font is kind of small. But don't have all this dead space. The logo is a little large. Condense this header so that you're not losing so much when someone first gets to the site. Also, I'd probably start with this one. Most people are going to be coming here because they lost their car keys or they need a new one. So start with this big call to action and then let them know once they get here, what do? So lost car keys, we can help. Click here for a free quote. Make it super simple for people to understand. You identify their problem and you can solve their problem. This is an okay secondary slide, but it should not be the first thing that people see. This again feels very forced for SEO. It kind of just feels out of place. I like that all these are here, so it kind of tells me exactly what it is that you offer. That's fine. We have this in a box for some reason, which some more dead space. Font is kind of small, hard to read. Clean that up. This is going to be actually a lot of the same thing that I said on both previous sites. There's a lot of information here, and it's hard to read. And it's got a lot of white space, and it doesn't feel super polished. So I understand that this is more of a, let's say, one and done type of site, where someone needs a key, they're going to contact you. All they need is a key, right? They don't need an amazing experience. However, chances are strong if this person loses their keys and has a great experience, they're going to tell everyone that they know, hey, I had such an awesome experience using the Car Key King that I recommended it to all my friends. So make this really polished and clean and feel like you actually care that they lost their keys and you're going to solve their problem. And not only are you going to give them a new key, but you're going to help them. You're going to be their knight in shining armor, right? You're going to answer their questions. You're going to solve their problems. You're going to do all these things to make them feel that warm and fuzzy and make them appreciate paying you. So obviously it's no surprise that in a business, you want a customer to pay you. Fine. You don't have to hide it. People understand when they're entering a business transaction, they're going to pay you. But there is such a way that you can have such an amazing experience as a service provider that customer is excited to pay you, because not only are you providing value, but you're giving them that warm and fuzzy. And that's what you want to try and do, because anyone can sell them a car key. They can go buy a car key from probably 10,000 different sites. But it's the warm and fuzzy and the personality and the experience that they're going to get from you that's going to make the big difference about why they spend their money here and why they're going to come back the next time they lose one, or when their friend loses their car key, they're going to recommend you. So you want to try and make this as clean, professional, polished as possible. And there's little things like all your items down here. They're all different heights. It's got one of these things going on to it. Minor, keep them all straight. The more attention to detail that you can put into things like this, the better it's going to be. Make your text easier to read. Make it super convenient for someone to get here, know what you provide, see that it's a well-polished machine, and pay you. So let's just take a quick look at the rest of this. This, I think I'd make full width. It just seems a little out of place. So I want to do a couple things. One is I want to take a look at these, right? So let's say I have lost the key and I need a replacement. First of all, read more. When I highlight it, read more is impossible to see. Change the color. Okay. So there's an obvious problem. I go to a page that doesn't exist. I want to solve that one. Same story here. Okay, I want a duplicate car key. I click read more. I go to a page that doesn't exist. Hopefully, okay, this one doesn't have one. Better, we don't have a generic error page, but we still have no page. So this one seems like a fairly obvious problem. We want to get real pages here. And we want people to actually go into some sort of a sales process where you're going to confirm their problem, provide their solution, and provide an option for them to pay you. So I don't know if the rest of these are. Let's take a look through it. All right. So I click on automotive. Automotive locksmith services. I don't want to read all this text. There's a lot. I want to understand that I have a lost car key. How do I fix it? When I get here, I go to that page that doesn't exist. So those are the main things that you want to look at. From the customer perspective, when they get here, they want to pay you for a new key. I don't really have an easy way for me to go and do that. So let's look at the quote. This is a contact form. All right, so fairly generic contact form. I'd probably move these to the front of the form, and then just maybe make these 1/3 wide each, so it doesn't look like I have to enter in that much information. So this is okay, and then maybe a little bit of information here about what it is that they're going to do once they fill out this form. So give them some sort of text here that's going to say, enter your information here and we'll get back to you right away with a quote. Just something. It doesn't have to be paragraphs, but give them a little bit of information about what they can expect once they fill out that form. So I think that's about as much as I can really go in depth on this. Obviously we can see the main things over and over again. We've got pages that just don't exist. So the more information we can put here and we can really define the funnel properly, we're going to really get people to actually check out and pay you. You really want to just focus on making the problem easily identified. So when they get there, they say, yeah, I have that problem. You can solve it. I will pay you. It should be that obvious and simple. So that, I think, is as much as I can get into on this site. Let's take a look at our next one. All right. We have Mayo Tree Services. So here we have another odd arrangement of the header. And this one's a little different than I've ever seen before. Your Google rating is helpful. I like that. I don't know why it's floating over here by itself in kind of a weird spot. The alignment of this is kind of odd. Everything is kind of in weird alignment. So I try and clean that up a little bit. It looks a little disheveled. Everything is kind of in random spots. Maybe move your logo to the left side. You could do 1,000 different things. Clean it up a little bit so it's a little bit more polished and everything is kind of in the right spot. The font here looks like you bought a theme, fairly generic, just dropped in your information. So you might want to look at just updating and tweaking a little bit so it looks a little bit more custom. This text here, way too small, way too hard to read on this background. So you've got a white font over white in an image. It's kind of confusing to read. So either make this background image a little bit darker or make the font a little bit bigger as well. It's going to be kind of hard to read, but font size on this site overall seems a bit small. So you might want to look at making these fonts a little bit larger. Here you have another great example of stuff we can't read. So I get the idea behind this. It looks cool, kind of, but I can't read this at all. It's a struggle. So maybe make a white background here. You can make it kind of see-through so you can still tell there's a tree behind it. But in all intents and purposes, this is camouflage, and I can't read what you've written here. I love the custom icons. It's a nice touch, so kudos for those. But I want to be able to read this a little bit better. Also, down here at the bottom, I really feel like there should be a call to action here. It just seems empty. So I don't necessarily know what the plan is there, if it's just how you laid it out. But now that we have your services identified, let's tell them, need a quote, contact us or call us, or give them the call to action now that they've said, hey, you have the service I want. How do I pay you? This video here seems out of place. So it has a trial watermark over it, which is concerning. Yeah, I don't know why, maybe whatever you used to create this video, but that's a really bad look. So you want to get that figured out so that it doesn't look like you took a free video and put it on your website, because I don't want to hire that company that's not going to spend the money, because what corners are they going to cut when it comes to cutting my trees? Also, some sort of headline here that's going to tell me exactly what this video is about, some other information other than hoping someone just clicks on the video. This seems okay. The spacing is kind of off, real tight to this border, a lot of empty space down here. So you might want to just even that up a little bit. The green borders are a little overdone, so I'd recommend not using them all over the place because they get a little heavy. Also, they're kind of tight to this. Add in some calls to action here while someone's reading this. So maybe down here in the bottom, add a book now option or a contact option. Give some type of option here for someone to go further, because when I'm looking at this section here, I have a call to action at the top, which is fine, a couple of them. No calls to action here. No call to action, no call to action, no call to action. Still no call to action. Okay, now we have a call to action. You want to try and give people options to contact you. Don't make them work for it because people are lazy. The same thing is going to apply up here. You've got fonts that are white over backgrounds that contain white. It makes it hard to see. Try and even these out if you can. Green border here, clean that up. This form, I'd probably start with something, and it just feels odd that there's this much empty space. Or maybe because it's an embedded form. It's just a strange user experience. So if you could, try and get that form directly on the site. It makes it weird having this much empty space, and then now you also have this much dead space on the right-hand side. You want to try and clean that up a little bit. And now you've got a logo here, which is black on gray. Clean that up a little bit as well if you could. White logo text would be helpful, or other color background. But that's the most of what I'm seeing here. It looks like you've got a lot of good information. You really need some calls to action and to just clean stuff up a little bit. Let's look at your actual service pages. So these suffer from too little information and a lot of empty space. Give me maybe some testimonials up here, maybe a photo background. Clean up the spacing here. It feels out of place, and there's a lot of emptiness in it. This call to action doesn't really stand out so much. So maybe instead of just tree and garden services request form, how about we give someone an incentive to say, looking for a tree service in, whatever your area is, fill out this contact form and we'll get right back to you. Make it simple for people to understand what it is that you want them to do. Here we have some green and red background that matches nothing else on the site. There's no phone number. So you want to call in the local tree experts. Why don't I have a phone number? Try and make it super simple for people to not have to work to contact you. We've got some more odd spacing here. The rest of this seems pretty similar. Yeah, I think what needs to happen here is you need to just do some cleanup, work on some spacing, polish it up a little bit, and work on your calls to action so that they're in your face, very simple. You know what you want to do. You hit the button and you do it. It doesn't need to be super crazy, but right now you've got a call to action, literally call, with no phone number. So now I have to find somewhere else and remember where else on the site that I have to go for a phone call. Just try and make it simpler. So we have one more site here that came in via comments from Craig. What's up, Craig? Let's throw that in here. We've got Pine Creek Mortgage, I think. Unless something is screwy. But I am missing. Am I missing parts of this website? Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. It says you're almost done with it, so I'll be gentle on you. So here, I love a logo. This top section here, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt you're not done with yet. But you've got this text, which seems to just be kind of floating in some random spot with a lot of empty space around it. So definitely just you want to tighten that up. Fonts, again, seem fairly generic. So try and work on the font there, make it feel a little bit more custom. I don't know if you have photos in these sections or not. Kind of hard when I don't know if the website's done, but you could definitely benefit from some photos here and some life, right? So far, everything is very sterile. It's just white. There's emptiness, and I don't really know what the call to action is yet. So I don't know how much more I can tell you on this website because it is fairly empty. We'll look at some other pages, but I don't know what's supposed to be here. Hopefully something. Now let's take a look at an actual page and see what information we have there. Okay, better. If you could try and work on moving this section here down and over a little bit, just so you can kind of get rid of this big empty spot. What you could also do is try and take this contact form and overlay it over your border, just to kind of tighten things up a little bit so you don't have people scrolling so far. One of the other things you might want to do, I see you've got this nice little effect here where when you scroll, your logo gets smaller. It's a nice effect, but it makes your logo impossible to read. So what you could try and do is when you do scroll, replace it with a different logo that is just the text, because then you can keep the logo still readable, but you can shrink that nav bar so that it's up and out of the way, and you can kind of keep your call to action on the page. You can still actually read the logo. So the calls to action are decent. I don't love this background image that stays on every part of the page. In some parts here, it gets difficult to read. The darker parts of these chevrons interfere with the text a little bit. So you might want to either lighten that up in some sections, or just try and find a way to maybe make the font a bit bolder. Work on a darker color, perhaps. It does interfere a little bit with the readability there. Overall, I think you've got a decent head start. I want to reserve judgment until the site is done, so maybe we'll take a look at it next week or whenever you're done, no rush. Just because I don't know that we're really done enough to give you valid feedback. I don't know which sections are considered done and which sections are not done yet. So let's see. You want me to check the homepage again? There we go. That looks markedly different. So look at that. Troubleshooting websites in real time. All right, we are looking better. However, I am also confused a little bit. Things just seem kind of all over the place. So I like that you have the give us a call button. I don't love that I see two of them at the same time. I think maybe adding in some background here in this first top section would be helpful, just to kind of break it up from this section below. And I think one of the things that I'm seeing here is these sections kind of just blend together too much, and there's not enough separation from one row to the other. So you might want to take a look at how you can do that. That would be helpful. Photos are good. But I think, again, one of the issues I see here is your text gets a little unreadable with the background. So what you could do is make this entire box a white background. So that way you've got some white backgrounds in each one of those boxes that'll help make those stand out as well. One thing I'd also recommend here on your Give Us a Call buttons, either in the button or above the button, is put the phone number. Because you have this Give Us a Call, which is great if you're on mobile and you tap it and it calls. But if I'm on my computer, I would like to know the phone number so I can pick up my phone and call you. So add the phone number here somewhere, because that would just make it easier for people to actually call you. Yeah, so I see the phone number down here, but if you could add it either right above or below or inside that button, just to make it easier when people are actually wanting to follow that call to action, they know how to do it. So we're looking better, definitely better. Still some extra space here, which you might want to clean up. And just find something, maybe this row here even, just to break up the top and bottom. Give it a different colored background, just to, again, create some visual separation from these rows so they don't all kind of mesh together. But I think you're off to a pretty good start, and I'd love to see how this evolves. That'll be fun. So, all right, cool. I think we went over all the sites that we have. I don't see any more questions, and I appreciate everyone who left me some feedback. That was super helpful. So what I'm going to do at this point is thank you, because this was actually pretty fun. And what I'd love is to just open the invitation for you guys to, at any point in time, drop in your website over here on jlewis.com/audit. Just drop your name so I know who I'm talking to, your email so I can get in touch with you if you have a question, and your website address. And that way what I can do is next week, I can pull up your website and give you some free advice. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments somewhere. I will find them and reply. But again, I hope sincerely that this was beneficial for you. I hope that my lighting was good. I hope that you could hear me. And I hope you had fun, because I did. And we'll do this again. But most importantly, I just wanted to thank you for your time and for indulging me while I had fun poking fun at your websites. But to be clear, I'm harsh on your websites because I want them to be better. I'm sure we could pick apart websites I've done. No website's perfect. So definitely take all of this as constructive feedback. The purpose of this is to find ways that we can improve, not to say, haha, look what you did. So I definitely want everyone to just understand that, because almost every website I look at all day long, I can find ways to improve. And even our own website, there's things that I can fix, that I can improve, that I can make better. But at a certain point, you need to get it out there and get customers going through it. So I just want to finish by saying that I don't mean to knock anyone. Every website ever is a work in progress. Always be improving, always be testing, always be looking for ways that you can make it better. And that's what I want to do, is try and just help you find those ways. So that's my speech for tonight. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a great night. And that's all I got. Thank you all.